We did simple metric conversions earlier. Now we're going to go ahead and transfer our knowledge and use it to solve multi-step problems. So we have John. Picture John, he's riding his bike. He rode 2 kilometers on his bike. Then his friend Matt was with him, and Matt rode 2,300 meters on his bike. We have to figure out who rode the furthest and how much further. So we need to convert these. This problem doesn't give us the actual conversion that we need to do. It doesn't say you need to convert kilometers to meters. Some questions may be worded, who rode the farthest in meters? Or who rode the farthest in kilometers? It doesn't say that here. So we have free range. For our purposes, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to convert to our unit, which our unit is our meters. So we are going to, again, solve it with both King Henry and both with our star reference chart. So I'm doing 2 kilometers or kilometers. And I'm converting that to meters because that's what I personally chose to convert it to. Again, it did not specify, so that's what we're going to go ahead and do it in. So I'm going from kilo to my unit. This tells me I'm going to be taking steps down, and down means I'm going to the right. I go down once, twice, 3 times. You do not count this first step as a step. So again, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to say 3 right, just so I don't get confused. There's no decimal to move. So this tells me I'm going to start at the end. And I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And again, we add our zeros, our placeholders. 1, 2, 3. This tells me that 2 kilometers or 2 kilometers is 2,000 meters. If I look at my star reference chart, it says 1 kilometer equals 1,000 meters. So we're going to create our table again. We have 1 kilometer and we have 1,000 meters. We need to ask ourselves, what do we multiply 1 by to get to 1,000? 1 times any number is itself, or that number. So our rule is times 1,000. All I'm going to do now is plug in my numbers from the equation. So I have 2 times 1,000 gives me 2,000. So we used our steps correctly. Now, this was a 2-step problem. We are not done. Many of us forget to go back and do our second step. So one trick that you can do is you need to write down the total number of steps. So we can go ahead and say 1, convert, 2, compare, and 3, solve. Okay, so we have converted this to 2,000 meters. So now we have John with 2,000 meters and Matt with 2,300 meters. Who rode the furthest? John, 2,000. Matt, 2,300. Notice I lined up my numbers so I can look column by column. When we convert, if we're not converting decimals, we're going to look at the whole thing. So we're not going to start here. This time we're going to start like we read from left to right. I have 2,000s. They're both the same. Then I go over and I have a 300 and no hundreds. So I can go ahead and stop here because I know Matt rode the furthest. So we have converted and we have compared. Now we have Matt who rode the furthest. But the second question says, how much farther did he ride? I have to think about when something's asking me how much more, I need to go ahead and subtract. That's one thing we've learned since first grade. How much more is going to be to subtract? All of my numbers are lined up pretty well, but probably not well enough for Miss Doherty to like. She would like me to have graph paper right now. So we have 2,300, 2,000. My numbers are spaced out. There's no room for error. They're lined up. 0 minus 0 is 0. 0 minus 0 is 0. 3 minus 0 is 3. And 2 minus 2 is 0. So now we have solved our problem. We have Matt who rode the furthest. Matt by 300, was it 300 kilometers or meters? This is why labels are important. I should have gone back and I should have said 2,300 meters, 2,000 meters. And then I would know that this followed me down and I would have by 300 meters.